Welcome back to the Molten Man Cave. We have something special for you tonight. The Aberlour Abuna. And I had to do this evening, especially after doing the Aberlour 18 review, which was less than glowing, just to let you guys know that Aberlour is an amazing distillery that I happen to love. But first, we have to welcome the late, great, well, I guess you're not dead. I don't know why I said late, great. Mr.
I'm almost dead.
David Bruns.
Half dead.
Welcome back to the Malted Man Cave.
Thank you, Keith. It's once again, it's good to be in your basement.
I like to do things down here by myself.
Yeah, it shows. It shows. It really shows.
So tonight we're going to be doing, as I said, the Aberlour Abuna. The Aberlour Abuna is non-chill filtered, check. Non-colored, check. And it comes in at a whopping 60.1 ABV. So those of you who watch my channel and know me know that I'm very excited about this whiskey. This is one of the great, iconic, just whiskeys that a lot of connoisseurs pine after. This is batch 49, which if you do your research, this is known for being one of the better batches. I also have, do you mind grabbing that batch? The batch 53, which, you know, it's good, but it's really not that good for an Aberlour Abuna. Do not get the batch 53. But tonight we will be doing the batch 49. So, a little bit about Aberlour. Aberlour is known and very famous because it is comprised of 100% first fill sherry Oloroso casks, which gives it just amazing color. Just look how dark that is. It's freaking amazing.
Darkness.
So, what else about the Aberlour? Aberlour is a Speyside whiskey founded in 1879 by James Fleming. And it, like I said before, it almost has a cult-like following from many whiskey connoisseurs. It's just a really, really good whiskey. So, enough of me blabbering. Let's get to
the review.
Get to tasting some whiskey.
Once again, I am the layman. I know very little about what we're going to be tasting. This is the first time that I have actually had this whiskey before, let alone the batch.
Well, are you going to water it down?
Woo! No, I'm not.
If anybody watched your last review, I am the water.
He's in charge of the water.
I will be doing the watering of the
not tonight.
Power of the pause.
Power of the pause. No, I wrote some notes. The first time I had it, the first thing, as soon as I put my nose in it, is first of all, it's got a little alcohol content to it when you stick your nose in it, and it can be overpowering, especially for a novice to get much scent. Much scent when you first get it, but my first thought was it reminds me of opening up a package of raisins. Just that first little breath of raisin air that comes out of it, the package. It reminded me of that, and then it also reminded me of my wife loves wine, and she doesn't seem to drink all of it. There's some always in the bottom of it, and whenever I'm putting her
red
glass,
wine or white wine?
Red wine. Whenever I'm putting her glass into the sink, that scent reminded me of it. So like a.
You're the one that does the dishes.
Occasionally, yeah. Come on, who doesn't? It's 2017. I also get laid more a lot.
Touche. Did you get anything else on the nose?
Yeah, and then also, so after the raisins, cloves. It reminded me of. There's this brand of clove cigarettes called Jarm Blacks, and
which we talked about in the last review that we.
Oh, we did?
Collaboratively together.
Don't even remember that conversation. Anyways, it just reminded me of somebody smoking a clove, and I don't mind the smoke. Some people, they're like somebody's smoking cloves.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah, I like the smell of cloves. Anyways, it reminded me of that. So first scent, first opinion of it, it was all a good. There wasn't any bad points to it.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, on the nose, I get, imagine, and I don't know if they have Cinnabon in Europe or elsewhere in the world, but in America we have a restaurant. Would you call it a restaurant?
It's
a chain.
It's a
called
pastry chain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pastry
called
chain.
Cinnabon. They often have it at malls.
Airports. If you've ever been to an airport in the United States, it's got a Cinnabon in it.
And I totally, when you put your nose to it, you just get Cinnabon cinnamon rolls. It's absolutely fantastic.
We've been down here smelling the. Anyways.
I get molasses, almost like a maple syrup.
Yeah.
Molasses type nose. Potpourri. It's very fancy, but not. In some ways, if I heard that someone else and another reviewer saying that, it might almost sound off-putting, but it's actually very pleasant.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like your grandma's potpourri.
Yeah.
It's not like you walk into the bathroom at your grandma's house and the door's been shut for a week and the potpourri's been going.
Your grandma just came out of the bathroom.
Or maybe she does.
Did I ever tell you about that story?
No. What?
I think it's appropriate. So I want to tell you a little story about the Clark household. Actually, this would be the Bleecker household. My mother, we were at a family reunion.
Is this about your grandmother in potpourri?
You remember Lillian?
Yes.
So we were in Iowa at a Bleecker family reunion, and everyone sleeps everywhere, because there's just so many people there. And my Uncle Gary, he snored like a mother effer. And so I am very this. I'm very sensitive to sounds. So I could not stand the snoring. So I was like scrounging to escape the snoring. And so I finally went to the bathroom. And so I take my sleeping bag and I'm in the bathroom. And what do I hear at about 3 o'clock is my old grandmother Lillian coming in at 3 o'clock, and I froze. I probably should have said, "Grandma, wait."
Yeah, like no.
But I was like, I was half asleep, half awake, and I didn't say anything. And next thing I know, I just hear my 80-year-old grandmother,
deucing it.
Lillian Bleecker.
May she rest in peace.
Yeah, and that sound will never leave me.
You can take that to your grave.
It haunts my nightmares.
It should.
But anyways, we've really
so this is what it reminds you of.
We've really gotten off track. So,
what else do you have?
All right, back on. So potpourri, you get a slight nuttiness. I'm not really sure. It's cashews, almonds. I'm not really sure what kind of nut. It's just a slight nuttiness. And lastly, chocolate-covered raisins. So again, how you got the raisins, which obviously is very common.
Is that a common?
With sherry whiskeys, which this is first fill.
Well, I'm a common man.
Oloroso sherry. So what about on the palate?
The first, it's got a little heat to it. So even the first glass that you gave me, Keith watered it down a little bit, put a little water in it. But even still, for a novice drinker, it's that high alcohol content is going to be the first thing that you notice. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't like taking a shot of Everclear or something like that. It was delicious at the same time. It was painful but delicious. The first thing the
$130 bottle of whiskey.
It was a little painful.
Painful.
No, but it's good pain. The first thing I got was, it reminded me of when we run out of, we eat a lot of pancakes and eggs at my house, and we go through a lot of syrup, maple syrup, but it reminded me of when you run out of maple syrup and you stick the honey into the microwave as a substitute. It's never a substitute for maple syrup, but it reminds me of warm honey.
Yeah, I totally see that, for sure.
And then I was still getting kind of a winey, fermented fig, maybe, like a fig, or it was definitely like going back to that wine taste again, or that wine scent again. Not a bad. It's not like I didn't think it was a a bad experience. But and then lastly, probably a little cinnamon, like spices, like opening up a spice cabinet.
Yep.
I would say.
I put cinnamon hot candies. You know the time you get like at Christmas?
Yeah,
Those little, like round, like red hot
Hots,
cinnamon.
Red Hots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So on the palate, I get pralines. Have you ever had pralines?
Yeah, well, I've had praline pecans and things like that.
Exactly. So it's like it's very popular down in the South. It's kind of a chocolate confectionery that has pecans in it, and when you taste this, it just freaking right.
Yeah.
Do you get it now that I say that? The pralines.
I like pralines, but it's almost too sugary. But this isn't. It doesn't have that sugar taste to it like the pralines do.
So I try not to copy other reviewers, but in hearing the Whiskey Bitch, several other reviewers, they all say pralines, and I can't help but actually smell that and taste that. It's totally 100% you get pralines, which is to me a very amazing note. Next, I get candied almonds. I remember when I used to live in New York City.
Yeah.
For a summer. It's kind of really sad to say, but I used to go to this place under the 9/11, not the 9/11, the World Trade Center.
World Trade Center.
And they used to have this awesome nut place, and they had these candied cashews and almonds. And I can totally smell candied almonds when I taste this. Smell and taste candied almonds. I get brown sugar, again that molasses, and again that chocolate covered raisins. The hot cinnamon candies again, like I said. And lastly, you get that demerara sugar, that like kind of raw, unrefined sugar. And rum raisin bread. Just that rum raisin bread. It's kind of like a yeasty, spicy rum raisin bread. So.
You're making me hungry.
I know. On the finish, what do you get?
The finish, I had, once again, it was easier the second time for me because I didn't water down to get the finish. I felt like it was pretty, like I was reaching for, and I'm sure people won't admit it to it, but early on when you're tasting bourbons, you're like, do I actually taste this, or is it because, definitely going back to that cinnamon, light cinnamon smell to it. It's got a kind of a very faint sweetness to it, I would say. What else? Just going back, honey, kind of a sweet taste to it, or a smell to it.
So on the finish, I get a long, I'd say more of a moderate to long drying finish with a little bit of cocoa. Spices, which you've already mentioned, several spices. The cloves, the cinnamon. It's very spicy, very much like the Macallan edition too that we reviewed.
Yeah, I felt like this was really similar to what we had before, but
a lot hotter.
Once we get to the malted man marks, I will let you know how I feel about this compared to it.
I'm worried about that. Because this is a really good
It's gonna be a
whiskey.
surprise.
I don't think it's going to be as good as I think it should be. And then again, that rum raisin bread. So for me,
Okay.
Malted Man Cave mark is a 94 out of 100.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
This is really freaking good whiskey. But
Right. I think my last one was a 91. This was close.
I think it was a 92. Actually.
92? Okay. The first number that came in my head was an 88. The reason behind
Whiskey
it,
connoisseurs are rolling over in their graves.
the reason why, let me speak, is because I felt like I wasn't ready for it. I felt like
I should have picked a different whiskey.
I felt like my palate had to be a little bit more delicate, and so it's not that it's a bad whiskey or that it's an 88 if this is the first time you're ever having it, or a whiskey like it, which is very good.
Yeah, it's
All
really
right.
hot. I'm not surprised.
Okay.
So it's decent, just really hot.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So the
It
marks
was
are a little
just
bit lower.
yes, exactly. Meaning it will. I would like to come back to this maybe down the road, do a little check next to it, and come back to it, circle back.
Any last comments about the Aberlour Abuna?
Yeah. So this taste. So the reason why I gave it an 88 was because I associated it with the first drink I had of it. Reminded me, being with Keith, reminded me of one of the first times you and I drank together, and I had something this strong. And if you've ever been
What was
to,
that? I don't remember.
if you've ever been to Pleasure Island in Disney World,
Are we gonna go on record?
oh yeah, we're going on record. Okay, so Keith and I are underage. We've never had alcohol
I love
before.
Jesus. I do not drink. Underage. I don't know.
We drank once underage. We drank once underage, and we only had a sip. And they caught us immediately as soon as we were taking our first sips. And we're both
You played
17,
this
18.
all along, didn't you?
Well, no, it's as soon as I drank it, I was like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of that terrible
Never
stuff.
coming back.
Not terrible,
This guy.
but just strong stuff. And so as soon as they reach us, because we didn't have a bracelet or whatever it was on, Keith pieces out. Just poof.
Dude,
Gone. I just see him just running. And the dude's
Don't act like you weren't impressed. I
Dude's-
was like freaking Tarzaning it. I jumped over fences.
Dude's
I
got-
like jumped 10 feet in the air and I jumped over the fence and I was like hiding in the bushes.
So they let us go. So me and my sister and her friend, who had let us try their drinks, they let us go, and we're looking all over for Keith. And who's
Nowhere to be found. Because I'm a freaking ninja.
who swam across the channel?
Because I was right next to like the river or like the ocean.
I know. He like
I was hiding in the
He
bushes.
forged a channel to get back. Oh,
You
man.
were a little bit impressed though, were you?
I was very impressed.
What did
was
I
very
say when I
impressed.
came back? Like, sucks to be you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, sucks.
Do you have a minor misdemeanor on your record? Because this guy doesn't.
Oh no, we do. You want to go up to Mary, the statue of Mary?
No, we're not going there.
Okay.
All right, that's
Next
next for
time.
another review. So, like I said, Malted Man Cave Mark is a 94 out of 100 for me. And what did you have again?
You know what? I feel terrible saying it was an 88. A 91.
What? You can't.
Okay, I'm not gonna change it. 88. If you're new to whiskey or this strength of a whiskey, of a cask,
It's
then
that, yeah.
you should probably
Water it down.
and
It'll release a lot of the flavors.
yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so
But it was delicious, nonetheless.
So, thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you, Dave, again for being my guest speaker. We need to have you on. Need to have you on here more.
Okay.
Like, subscribe. I hope to see you guys soon. Sláinte. For Malted
What?
Man Cave Marks.